And welcome back to Sports the NEMO Way, the Chicago Bulls episode. So today we will be discussing the all-time starting five of the Chicago Bulls. And also today we have a guest. Mark Tyler is back. It's been a while. But Mark, I believe this is his fourth episode he's been on. So welcome back, Mark.
Thanks, glad to be here.
And we are talking about Mark's favorite team, the Chicago Bulls. I'm sure he'll be quite braggadocious today.
We own the 90s.
Can't argue against that, I don't think. But anyway, we'll see how many of those 90s guys appear on the team at the end of this. But let's get started. Drew, who is your Bulls all-time point guard?
Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose is mine.
He's mine as well.
Derrick Rose.
He's also mine.
So that's a 6.
Oh, well, we have a unanimous point guard.
Okay, well,
All right.
good start.
Well, Drew, do you want to tell us a little bit about Derrick Rose?
Well, just kind of like last week, it's another point guard that I got to watch play. And I was rooting so hard for Derrick Rose to beat LeBron
Me too.
Me too.
in Chicago. I mean, he was just so electric before he tore his ACL.
Yeah.
I mean, he just, I don't know. He just brought a spark back to Chicago after, ever since Michael left, their Chicago Bulls just weren't the same. And he kind of brought that spark back to them, and they were competitive in the playoffs. So, yeah,
Well, it wasn't just Derrick Rose. That was a good team.
yeah.
Jimmy Butler, Luol Deng,
Joakim Noah.
Joakim Noah, Boozer. You had Taj Gibson off the bench. You had Kirk Heinrich off the bench.
Kyle Korver.
Was Ben Gordon? You said Ben Gordon.
I didn't say Big Gordon, but
Ben
yes,
Gordon,
he was there
a
too.
shooter.
Mm-hmm.
He was a shooter.
One of my coolest sports moments in my life involves Derrick Rose. I've been to one NBA game, and it was the Bulls against the Jazz my senior year of high school. So I actually got to watch Derrick Rose the year he won the MVP. And he scored 36, or it was like 36 or 34 against the Jazz, which was really cool. His explosiveness and his lateral movement is insane to see a human being move like that. And the Jazz at that time had like Kurtelenko and Al Jefferson and young Gordon Hayward and Derek Favors and stuff. So I got to see all them. And it was the 20-year anniversary of their first championship. So at halftime, Jordan and Pippen made speeches. So I got to see Jordan and Pippen.
Oh, that was cool.
Nice,
It's cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got to see the MVP drop 36. I got to see Jordan and Pippen. But the coolest thing I saw that entire night was Kyle Korver warm up. It was insane. I've never seen a human being be able to shoot that good. He started a couple of feet out from the basket and made like a little arch and just did like a complete follow-through form. And then he'd take like 2 or 3 steps back and do it again and make a nice little arc. And did that all the way back. It took him like 10, 15 minutes to do the complete shooting thing. And he probably shot, I don't know, 60, 70 shots. And I only saw him miss once. It was just bottom of the net, bottom of the net, bottom of the net. It was crazy to watch, but yeah. And I got to see Derrick Rose yak on Andre Kurtelenko. So it was pretty cool.
I don't think we touched on it. His career numbers in Chicago are 19, 3, and 6 on 44%, 30%, and 81%.
Yeah.
I will say, though, not that I'm trying to start an argument, but I do think Derrick Rose's MVP is a sham. He was not the MVP of the league that year. And I don't even think he was second.
I'm going to disagree, but go ahead. You think LeBron should have been MVP?
Well, I think LeBron has a very good case to be MVP, and I also think Dwight Howard had a very good case for being MVP.
See, that's your Orlando-ness speaking out.
Well, I am an Orlando fan, yes,
Bulls had the best record in the Eastern Conference that year.
and that's why he's the MVP.
But that's it. When he was the leader of the best team, regular season team anyway. And they if I'm not mistaken, I think they beat Miami 3 out of 4 times that year. Either 3 out of 4 or 4 out of 4 during the regular season.
That could be. I have no idea about that.
And of course, we know this is 2011 when Miami had their stacked team, as LeBron gave birth to the super teams.
Well, all I'm saying is I'll just give you Dwight's stats from that year. Mark.
Okay, here we go.
23 points, 14 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 2 blocks. He shot 59% from the field. He was all defensive team, which is not surprising.
Right.
So he was a beast on that end and still scored 23 on the other end. I'm just
I
saying.
mean, it's impressive, but what was Derek's numbers?
25, 4, and 7.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of years where you can argue someone else should have won
Still.
it. You can do that. I mean, we've done that a lot on this podcast.
Mhm.
But I mean, stat-wise, I get that argument. But I think sometimes you got to look at like how important they are to their team, and that whole Bulls offense ran just directly through him, and he pretty much was their offense, really. You know, Luol Deng was a solid offensive player, but you know, Jimmy Butler, I'm not even sure was on the team yet at that point. No one else was really a great offensive player. It was him, and then some role players. And I think if you take him off the Bulls, they're probably a below 500 team because they would not be able to score the ball. If you take LeBron off Miami, they're probably still a top 3 seed.
That's true.
Dwight is probably somewhere in between there because the Magic had some solid players, some really good players, but not as stacked as Miami. But I think you could argue Derrick Rose is more important to his team maybe than the other two. But
That year, Luol Deng averaged 17, Carlos Boozer averaged 17, and Joakim Noah averaged 11. Those are the other top scorers for the Bulls.
That's pretty solid help.
Yeah, I mean, Boozer was a legit all-star there for a couple of years.
That's pretty solid help.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that without LeBron, D-Wade and Chris Bosh probably are still maybe even contenders with Miami.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're still a good team.
Yeah.
They're definitely
Absolutely.
contenders, I think.
But this damn computer just jumped around on me here. LeBron averaged 26, 7, and 7 that year.
yeah,
So,
at that point, LeBron was a great defender too.
yes, he was.
Yeah, he was.
He was a phenomenal defender.
Anyway, that's not the point of this podcast. Derrick Rose is our point guard. All 6 of us voted for Derrick Rose.
Right.
I was just picking an argument there. So, Wade.
Yeah.
Let's see. Who's your shooting guard?
Oh,
You got the easy question, didn't
Zach
you?
Levine, put him on the board.
Get out.
No, it is Michael Jordan.
Nobody disagrees with that, right?
I hope not.
No.
I would hope the GOAT of the NBA is on
Right.
his team's starting five.
Well, we're back-to-back unanimous picks here, guys. And I wouldn't be surprised if the next guy is as well.
And back-to-back MVPs, too.
Yes, back-to-back MVPs. Although I don't think Derrick Rose will get into the Hall.
No, not at
No,
this point.
he got derailed too quickly.
Yeah.
Nope,
No.
I don't think he will.
But we'll have a couple more Hall of Famers on this list. Well, Wade, do you want to tell us a little bit about Mike?
I think everyone should already know. The greatest player of all time. He has 6 championships, 5 regular season MVPs, 6 finals MVPs, the highest scoring average in NBA history. Won a Defensive Player of the Year. Had a ton of All-Star games and All-NBAs. Yeah, it's the greatest.
Couple with he should have 7 regular season MVPs. 2 were taken cause of boredom.
Yeah.
Are you taking away Barkley's or both of
No.
Malone's?
Well, both of Malone's. Well, one of Malone's was taken from Michael. The other Malone wasn't taken from Michael. It was taken from David Robinson, I think.
Or Duncan?
Or either Duncan. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess-
Both Malone's are illegitimate. But Magic's in 90 could have been Michael's, too.
Oh,
But, I mean, Magic, he had a legit case. He had a legit case for MVP. Malone does not. And Barkley was a legitimate MVP. They led the league. They had the best record in the league that year. He had just came over from Philly, took Phoenix to the finals, elevated that whole franchise. But Karl Malone's, it was straight voter boredom. They were just tired of giving it to Michael.
Fair enough. By the way, his career numbers in Chicago were 31, 6, and 5 with 2.5 steals and a block. On 50% shooting, 33 from 3, and 83% from the free throw line.
It's called the GOAT.
MVP and Defensive Player of the Year, same year in '88.
Yeah.
Yep.
Won a few dunk contests just to add on to this
Well, then one
already
year
long list.
didn't he do everything one year?
Oh,
Yeah,
we,
you mean
we read
all
up the stat
awards?
that
Yeah,
one time.
yeah. I think he won.
91. I
So
think.
he won MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, the championship, and Finals MVP.
But-
And he was All-Star game.
No, but
MVP.
Defensive Player of the Year came in 87, 88.
Yeah, Defensive Player of the Year came in '88, but in '96 he won MVP, All-Star Game MVP,
Oh, okay.
Finals
MVP.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like him and Willis Reed, right?
Him and Willis Reed. Did Shaq do it?
Now there's some season that we talked about one time where he
Yeah.
did some feat that no one else had ever done before.
Was it a scoring title?
It was
I
a
don't know.
it was
I
a
don't remember what he
combination
did.
of things he won in that same season, and I can't.
Maybe instead of that, it was all defensive team instead of Defensive Player of the Year.
I don't know. We've also talked about how between Michael and LeBron, there's a whole Hall of Fame career between the two of them. I mean, what? 2 championships. How many MVPs does LeBron have?
4.
So, 2 championships, an MVP, 2 more Finals MVPs.
9 scoring titles.
What? 7 more defensive teams, probably.
Something like that. I don't know how many all defensive teams LeBron's got. But it's not 9.
The NBA decided that Michael is the GOAT when they named the champion, when they named the regular season MVP after him.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Well, Uncle Doug, who would be your small forward?
Scottie Pippen.
Yep.
Scottie Pippen.
I would just say
Scottie.
say if you disagree.
DeMar DeRozan.
All right. So we have 3 straight unanimous picks. This may be the boringest week ever, guys.
Wow.
Because I thought the center would be unanimous as
Pip
well.
nasty.
So
Real quick before I move on too far. In 95, 96, Jordan won the championship, Finals MVP, regular season MVP, All-Star Game MVP, scoring title, and set the record for most wins in a season.
There you go.
Did all that in one season.
Wow.
That's GOAT material.
Yeah.
I'd say so.
So Uncle Doug, would you like to talk about Scotty for a minute?
Well, 17-7, 6.7, 5.3, 7 All-Stars, 6 titles, 10-time All-D. He was MJ's running mate.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think everybody in here had Scotty on their top 50 list, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I thought so.
We argue a lot on where to put him.
Yeah.
We had large
right.
fluctuations on our list. Me and Ray were way up, and you guys were farther back. But
Yeah, I think I originally had Scotty in the 40s, and Ray had him in like 6.
yeah,
Yeah.
So
I had him around like 20 or something. And he
I would have
fluctuated a lot.
Scotty like around 25, 26.
I think I pushed him back to like around 30, but at the second time. But
I couldn't let Scotty be below LeBron.
yeah. Well, I mean, he's what all Robins are compared to. He
Yeah.
like set the standard for being the ultimate running mate for an all-time great.
I
Like,
agree,
yeah.
100%.
He's the standard that everyone's held up to now. You're compared to Scottie Pippen when you're the second best player on a championship team.
I agree, but we've also, not we as in us, but I guess the NBA has muddied that up with these super teams, because now we're
Right,
taking
yeah.
we're taking a
That's good.
collection of superstars and throwing
Yeah.
them together.
Yeah,
So there are going to be guys that might be better than Scotty, but it's like,
I agree.
but you were a number 1 on a contender already.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's
Be a
true.
little
Well,
bit kind of like, I don't know how you compare like maybe Kobe and to Shaq those first couple of years.
That
that's
might
kinda
be
different.
legitimate.
Yeah.
Kobe was number 2.
Mm-hmm.
But then, of course, Kobe wanted to be number 1.
Oh yeah.
I think those are kind of different because Kobe spent a large part of his career as a one. He was just developing
Yeah.
into it.
I mean, just
Right,
for like
yeah.
Pippen was the two the whole time, and Jordan was the one the whole time.
Yeah.
So technically D Wade was a Robin for a while,
Yeah.
but he was a number one that won a championship as the best player before that.
Yeah.
So I think those are different
Mhm.
than comparing like I think what do you think like team in the '90s, like Barkley was the Batman on the Suns and Kevin Johnson was the Robin.
Yeah.
Two guys that were very, very elite players on the same team. One was a little bit better than the other, but there wasn't any fluctuation where, I was a number one, then I was a two, then I was back to a one. It was, this is one, this is two.
It is very hard to find an apples to apples comparison because let's even think about somebody before them. Let's think about the 80s Lakers. And there was a certain time where Magic was Robin, and there was a time where Jabbar was Robin.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Yep.
that it changed so drastically over those years, and Jabbar already had a title and like 4 MVPs before Magic even showed up,
Yeah.
and Magic won MVPs after Jabbar. So you're just it's hard to find that apple to apples comparison where essentially they were Batman and Robin for the entirety of their career.
Right.
See, here's my other issue with the Lakers and Celtics. I know Bird and Magic get a lot of, they're really so. But man, their teams are just littered with Hall of Famers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no matter where you put them, McHale and Worthy were big time ballers. Dennis Johnson was a big time baller. Dennis Johnson was an MVP on a championship team. So he had championship pedigree when he came over to the Celtics, which is why Auerbach got him. They had Bill Walton for one of their runs. Again, another MVP on the championship team.
Well, let's just be honest. There was something going on in the 80s that either the Lakers and Celtics front offices were so much insanely smarter than the rest of the league, or they were blackmailing the rest of the league. Because you look at some of these trades like, hey, I know you won the championship, but we're also going to give you the number 1 overall pick. You know what I mean?
But back then you could do that. Auerbach was just, when he was a better general manager to me than coach. He made some ridiculous trades.
Yes, but look at some of these trades. Like I can't remember which one it was, but it was like I was looking at it the other day. It might have been the Worthy.
The Worthy one had the
and I'm like,
win.
I don't even know who the hell these guys are. I mean, you traded him for the number 1 overall pick that turned into James Worthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like
Even Magic though. Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted Gail Goodrich. Like I said, have Goodrich. Give us your number 1 pick 5 years from now.
not just Gail Goodrich.
5 years from now.
Not just
Didn't they have to win a coin flip too?
Yeah, he won a coin flip to
it
get
was a coin
Magic.
flip
Yeah.
too.
not just Gail Goodrich, old Gail Goodrich.
Oh, right, old
Right.
Gail Goodrich.
Yeah,
But that was one of those things where they were trading something down the road. They
Yeah.
weren't worried about it. But,
Yeah.
But back to Scotty before we get through with Scotty.
that's true.
You got to mention one of the greatest lines in the history of the NBA.
I love this.
When he told Malone that the mailman doesn't deliver on
Don't
Sunday.
deliver on Sunday.
That was just so great.
I can't remember what episode it was, but Mark, we did like a breakdown on one of the episodes of Jordan's steal from Malone in the finals,
Yes.
and we all kind of had like these preconceived notions in our heads, and some of them I think we kind of like proved out to be true, but other ones I think kind of we were wrong in the fact of like what we were picturing in our head when we picture that play.
Uh-huh.
Now I may not get all the names right or whatever, but like like Jordan's completely on the other side of the floor.
Right.
He's supposed to be guarding like Jeff Hornacek, who is a knockdown shooter, like almost like a 40% career 3-point shooter.
Right.
And he runs off of him, runs completely behind Malone, and steals the ball from him. And we're all sitting here going, "Why didn't Malone throw the ball to Hornacek?" But like Malone is so like engrossed, and like I've got to put a move on Rodman.
Yeah, he's trying to back down Robin. He
Yeah.
can't see behind him, and Magic. Michael comes up behind him and just.
Yeah, I know it was I can't remember all of what we said, but it was such an interesting time just breaking down that one play. Like,
Well, I think what started it, I asked if it was completely Malone's fault because his teammates didn't help him tell him that the greatest player of all time is running behind him
Yeah.
to steal the
That's
ball.
a good point.
Someone should alert you when someone's coming to steal the ball, especially like Hornacek, when he sees his own guy turn around and run all the way across the court behind the guy who has the ball. You should be screaming your head off to Malone that he's coming and to turn and look at me when no one's guarding me. Like,
Yell wolf.
Yeah,
like,
all you gotta do.
like
Carl, get the ball back out. Michael's coming. He's right. He's almost there.
Carl, face up Rodman and had the whole floor, not just your back, and you're looking to the audience.
or put both hands on the damn ball.
Yeah.
You know, or something. You know, anything would have been better than what happened. But
yeah. I think we ended up agreeing that it was a combination of
Yes,
things.
yes.
Yeah.
because I think Hornacek actually ends up in the paint. He actually runs in after Michael at a certain point.
Yeah. I
Anyway,
think-
it doesn't matter. I just brought that up because I thought it was fun. All right, so Mark, we're about to you, buddy. Who is your power forward?
Dennis Rodman. And I reluctantly went with Dennis. I mean, I think he had a maybe a little bit more impact than Horace. I love Horace. And to me, Horace is part of one of the greatest defensive stands ever. Charles Smith, game 4, I think it was, in New York. Game 4 in New York when Scotty, and Mike just rejects his layup like 3 straight times. Bulls escape because New York actually thought they were going to win that series.
I really thought I was going to put Horace for a little while, and then I also put Rodman.
I also put Rodman.
Just 3?
Just 3 of us?
I didn't put him.
I didn't either.
No.
Well, I thought
Okay.
for sure you'd have Rodman.
Just wait. Just wait.
I was gonna say, aren't you the 3 that had
Mhm.
they had Rodman really high on the 50 list?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that don't mean he belongs there.
Okay. All right.
Well, and I do have a question for Mark.
Okay.
I was looking through the stuff, and I was looking at Van Leer and all those guys.
Yep.
And,
from the 70s.
Bob Love.
Bob Love.
Because I was thinking, you can't put him. I couldn't put him over Scotty.
I couldn't put him over Scotty.
But I thought about power forward. But
he-
I didn't really see him play that much. Could he have played power forward?
No. I don't think he
all
could
right.
have played power forward in the 80s.
Okay.
He was
That
a
my
small
question.
forward. He was thin. He could score. I mean, he
Right.
averaged 25 a game in his heyday. He played on a Bulls team that went to the Western Conference Finals 2 years in a row. 1 year against Milwaukee, in which they were slaughtered 4 games. They couldn't do anything with Milwaukee.
They have him listed at 215,
Okay.
How tall? 6'9",
6'8".
6'8". And then the next year, they went up against Golden State and Rick Barry. The Bulls had a 3-2 lead with Game 6 in Chicago and lost. And then had a 13-point halftime lead in Game 7 and lost. Yeah. That was heartbreaking too. That's right up there with that with those other heartbreaks you guys were telling me we were talking about.
Yeah.
That was one. I was in 6th grade. Yeah, that was rough.
So he was a good player. I mean,
Yeah, Bob Love.
21, 7, and 2.
Yep.
And I was trying to find a spot but I couldn't put him in over Pippen.
He
and that's
can't go
why-
in over Pippen.
I don't know whether
No.
I just don't think I could put him at power forward, but I didn't.
You
know.
can't put it. You can.
I think personally, I know we're not done, but I think personally, Jordan and Pippen are just locks and locks.
Right.
There is an argument to be made with Van Leer over Rose. I really believe that. And I think there can be arguments for other power forwards. I just don't think there's an argument to be made for Jordan and Pippen to be taken off the team.
Right.
Right.
And Van Leer and Sloan was a great combination. Those guys D'd up. That was back in a more physical league. And man, you should hear Jerry West tell the stories about playing against Van Leer and Sloan. Even Wilt playing against Van Leer and Sloan.
Well, by the way, before we move on, in his seasons in Chicago, Rodman averaged 5 points, 15 rebounds, and 2 assists on 45% shooting and 54% shooting from the free throw line. So, yes. The only thing crazier is in his seasons in San Antonio, he averaged 5 points and 17 rebounds.
Average what?
5 points, 17 rebounds.
In San Antonio?
Yeah.
But then San Antonio didn't just like not shoot the ball.
He would do like all sorts of stupid things to get rebounds. Like he would refuse to like contest a shot because he would like start boxing out while the guy was still driving down the lane to get the layup, and like stuff like that.
Rodman was nuts. He had some serious mental issues. That's why he was such a good rebounder, but he had some mental issues.
And now he's friends with the dictator of
North
Korea, yeah. Mental issues.
That's who we send over.
Because he has mental. The dude in North Korea has mental issues. So he and Rodman, they work out well together.
Yep. All right. Well, it was me, Uncle Doug, and Mark who had Rodman. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So Ray, who do you have?
I got Bob Love.
Anybody
I
else
was
have
almost
Bob?
there with you.
Anybody else have Bob
I was
Love?
close. Ray, I was close. I wanted to.
I did too.
No, I did not have him.
No.
Look at power forward popping.
I figured that'd be the one position.
All right. Well, you got anything to say on old Bob Love there, Ray?
So my thought process was, yeah, we got it. Scoring at point, scoring at shooting guard, scoring at small forward. Why not have some scoring at power forward too?
His career numbers in Chicago are 21 points, 6 rebounds, and an assist. On 43% shooting and 81% from the free throw line. I don't know when he won these, but he made 2 All-NBA teams and 3 All-Defensive teams. When he did that, or whether they were Chicago, I don't know.
He played with the Bulls for like 9 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what did you guys say his height was?
6'8".
6'8".
See, and then you just throw a center in, and then they translate to modern era, so you got four scoring guys rolling around. So
Well, I
you know
mean,
what I'm
if you match those 4 guys up with a lot of modern teams, you're correct. They would be fine, I think. You match them up against a lot of the teams we're making, they may not match up well.
Right.
But you always got the equalizer with Jordan at shooting guard.
Having Jordan and Pippen chase people around the perimeter that's some nasty defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nasty defense.
Bob Love was on the Bulls he was on part of the Bulls teams. The first time I ever went to a game against the New York Knicks. I was 8th grade, and Bob Love was on the team. And Van Leer, Sloan.
I knew if I asked you, you'd know.
All right. Well, I think that kicks us to Drew. Drew, who's your power forward?
Horace Grant.
Horace Grant.
Of course.
Wade?
Nope.
Oh,
Wow.
Wow.
That diverse at power forward.
you putting Boozer on the team, Wade?
You're going to find out.
Oh my gosh.
Well, Drew, what do you got to say about old Horace Grant?
Averaged 12, 8, and 2 while he was in Chicago. I mean, he played a huge part. He was definitely number 3 in those first 3 championships with them. When you see Horace, you just think of him with his red goggles out there.
No, I don't. I think of him with blue goggles.
Oh, get out of here. But you just think of him. When they show those highlights of those teams from those years, it's Michael doing something crazy, Scotty doing something, then it's Horace out there flying around too with them.
I will say, he brought. He's not Dennis Rodman, but he was a very good defender.
He was an excellent defender.
Yeah.
And he was long, and he blocked shots.
He blocked shots and he challenged shots. Even shots that he didn't block, he changed. So
And he had some good ability on offense.
Yes.
Yeah.
He only averaged 12 points while he was in Chicago, but he shot 53% doing it.
he could have averaged 16 or 17, but
Well, didn't he have years where it's a lot better? Because, he would have been developing during that time.
His top year was 14.
14. It's not as good as I thought. I thought he would have reached 16.
No, I take that back. He had a year. His last year in Chicago, he averaged 15. Sorry, that would have been the year that the first year Mike was gone.
right.
He averaged 15 and 11.
Now,
and
Orlando,
and 3
did he average
assists.
more?
No, he did not. Because that was Shaq and Penny were there, so he still came in to be the third fiddle there.
right.
Well, Nick Anderson scored
And
a lot.
Nick Anderson and Dennis Scott were there, so he wasn't a big scoring option for them either.
I think he had that great series in the playoffs against the Bulls when Michael came back.
Yes.
And I know that was his shining moment. Shaq lifted
And they carried him
up.
off the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Horace said in that documentary that wasn't his idea, that was Shaq.
Shocker. Shaq coming up with something.
Well, Horace knew what was coming next
he
year.
Knew. Then he knew.
He knew where Michael was going after the game.
And as a matter of fact, that year, '95, I think Houston Rockets won the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
And on the broadcast, our good friend Bill Walton said, "I can't believe that Michael Jordan is not somewhere watching this, working out, getting ready."
Yeah, in that series against the Bulls that year, Horace averaged 18 and 11,
Yeah.
and Penny averaged 18 and 7, and Shaq averaged 24 and 13.
Good old Shaq.
Yeah, Nick Anderson, who also has a famous moment in that series, obviously.
Yeah, when he stole the ball from Mike. Yeah.
He averaged 15, and Dennis Scott averaged 14. So, yep. Anyway, so, do you have anything else to add on Horace Grant, Drew?
No.
All right. Well, Wade, finally, who's your power forward?
All right. Who are my two favorite players of all time, Alberta?
Oh, no.
Elton Brand.
Oh, my Jesus.
Elton Brand is my power forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, wait, that ain't a bad choice.
It is not at all. It is not at all.
I'm still not gonna go in, but you got a point. You got a little point there.
He's only there for a couple seasons, but he averaged 20 points, 10 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 1 steal, 1.5 block.
Okay.
One Rookie of the Year there.
48% from the field.
Yep, shot 70% from the line.
Did he play under your favorite coach, Floyd? Was that his name? Is that who was coaching?
Was Floyd there then?
He was there.
Because he was after. This
That
was
was
after
90.
Michael left.
Yeah, he was the first pick in the draft in 1992 for the 99-2000
Yeah,
season.
Tim Floyd was his
Tim
coach.
Floyd, yeah.
Yeah. And Jerry Krause was still the GM.
Yeah, he
Oh,
played in the
jeez.
ugly Tim Floyd era. That's the dark days.
They were god awful. It was Elton Brand and a bunch of trash cans out there.
Right.
They drafted like Eddie Curry and Tyson Chandler,
Yeah.
Jamal Crawford.
Jamal Crawford. Like it was god awful.
So here's the Bulls team from his rookie season. Okay, you ready? Chris Anstey. I don't know who the hell that is. B.J. Armstrong was there.
He was? He came back then.
Yeah, it must
Must've
have been
been
because he
old,
would have been in Charlotte for
Yeah,
a while.
yeah.
Yeah, 'cause he was in Charlotte in one of those series against
he was on the
Michael.
Bulls for
Yeah.
the first three-peat, so we're talking.
Yeah.
Corey Benjamin, Randy Brown, Chris Carr, Cornell David, Hershey Hawkins, who probably would have been old as
He
hell
was
at this point,
I would say.
too. Fred Hoiberg,
Fred Hoiberg?
The
Yeah.
mayor.
Larry Kettner,
Oh, man, the great dunkster.
Tony Kukoc was there.
That was still there.
He Rusty LaRue, Matt Maloney, who won championships with Olajuwon in Houston.
Okay.
Matt Maloney.
Will Perdue was there.
Oh, man. Will of Thrill.
You guys get my point about the trash can cutting?
Khalid Reeves. I don't know who the hell that is.
Reeves. Didn't he play for
Stars.
Connecticut? In college, I mean.
Arizona.
Arizona.
This roster is so bad, we had to brag about Matt Maloney.
We did. Michael Ruffin, who I actually do know who that is. Dickie Simpson.
I remember him.
John Starks is there.
And he didn't even want to be there, but
Dedrick Willigby
Oh, no.
and Ron Artest.
Yeah.
It's been a young Ron Artest.
Real young.
Yeah.
that's
Well,
before
'cause
he went crazy.
These
Yeah.
terrible years, that's what led to the big Tyson Chandler and Curry picks and Jamal
Yep.
Crawford and
Yep. right.
Jay Williams.
Oh, yeah, Jay Williams, yeah.
Ben Gordon. That's what led to all those guys getting drafted in those high positions, and most of them were complete and utter failures as well.
Okay, so his second year, a couple guys are still there, but they add Jamal Crawford. They add Bryce Drew. They add Marcus Fizer, who was like the number 4 overall pick, I think.
Wow.
They add Ron Mercer,
He was okay,
Brad Miller,
solid.
Jake Voskuhl. Remember Jake Voskuhl? Big goofy white guy. I think Phoenix drafted him. And
Probably from
Ron
South
Artest is
Dakota
still there.
somewhere.
It's good stuff.
So they got better his second year anyway, it looks like. I think Miller and Mercer is a vast improvement over anybody we named on the last team.
Yeah.
All right.
Good team.
So Wade, I agree with, in the sense that you could make a case for Elton Brand
Indeed.
being the Bulls, one of Bulls' best power forward. Even I guess Rodman is associated with the championships.
He is. He
Yeah.
is.
And I mean, and he played a role. I mean, though he didn't score a lot of points, the Bulls went and got him because, if you remember, Orlando owned them on the boards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did.
In '95.
Shaq and Horace beat 'em
Shaq and
up.
Horace beat them up, and so they said, okay, we need some rebounding.
Well, there's no one better than getting Dennis Rodman to go rebound the ball.
Right.
Yep.
Right. All right. Well, I think that wraps up our power forwards finally. And that leads us to center. And since I'm the only one that hasn't gone yet, I'll say my center, which I think might be unanimous again, maybe. I went with Artis Gilmore.
That was my center.
Same here.
That's my center.
My center.
Yeah, that's 6.
All right.
Right.
So 4 of our positions are unanimous.
Yeah.
And then the one position has 4 guys.
Sounds about right.
Kind of ridiculous, but we can go with it. Oh.
I'll be honest with you guys. I could see us going multiple ways here because this is the way I look at it, and you can tell me if I'm wrong. Rodman is the guy that's going to, like we just mentioned, he's the best rebounder. And he's also probably the best defender.
Right.
But he's going to provide you virtually nothing offensively. Brand is by far, leaps and bounds, the best offensive player of the bunch.
Right.
Him and Love.
And then,
Love scored over 22.
yeah, I wasn't even counting Love.
Yeah,
And Grant is like, I feel like in the middle. I feel like he provides a little bit of everything, but he's not great at one thing.
Right.
Well, here was my. Obviously, I'm biased. Brand's one of my favorite players ever. Which I've never met another Elton Brand fan.
Me neither.
Never once. I'm the only person that loves Elton Brand. I don't know why. But anyway, Brand was. He's either the best scorer or he's tied with Love. He's the second best rebounder of that group, and he was a very, very good defender as well. And while, yes, Dennis Rodman was probably the better defender, we're talking about older Dennis Rodman, who was not as good a defender as he was when he was younger. So he's not the all-time, maybe greatest defender ever like he was in his younger days. We're talking about old Dennis Rodman.
That is true.
Who is not as good defensively and can't switch out onto people anymore. He's strictly a post defender who got abused by certain matchups. Well, Brand was a very good defender, was very young and athletic still, and a better scorer, and got 10 boards a game, and passed, and got more steals and blocks.
Horace is also younger too, so
Yeah.
he doesn't have that.
Yeah, this is young Horace, too. By the way, I don't want to change the subject completely, but I want to ask Wade some questions real quick.
Yeah.
Because Wade is, as he mentioned, the only Elton Brand fan I know, and Wade's not exaggerating. He is a huge Elton Brand fan. Wade had Elton Brand everything we were kids. Him and Vince Carter, of course.
Yes.
So here is his nicknames on Basketball Reference. I want to see if you've heard of any of these, because there's a few of them. Chief Beef.
No, but I saw that earlier and it made me laugh.
Slant.
No.
Here's the best one, though. Old School Chevy.
No.
What is that?
I'm guessing that's due to the way he played, but he kind of slowed everything down, just got to his spot and did his move, and he couldn't stop it, and he didn't really move overly quickly.
And here's the last one. Horse.
No, the only thing I ever remember him being called is EB.
Yeah.
People would call him EB. That's the only one I really remember. But
So what were his Bulls numbers again?
20 points, 10 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 1 steal, 1.5 blocks.
Oh, by the way, your other favorite player was who?
Vince Carter.
My granddaughter goes to the same high school he went to.
In Florida?
Yeah.
Really? I think him and T-Mac both were in Florida, weren't they? Or
Yeah.
was T-Mac somewhere else? They were both in Florida?
Mhm.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. You know, Vince Carter's super big into like music. He used to play like the saxophone and stuff, and like the trumpet, and he can do the drums and piano. And he did a bunch of music stuff when he was younger, going to high school there and stuff. On top of his
That reminds
basketball.
me of another almost Bull story. Whatchamacallit was into music, and he died. Played for Oklahoma in college, and then he played for, I think, Sacramento in the pros. Wayman Tisdale.
Oh yeah, Tisdale. Yeah.
Jordan wanted him as his power forward really bad. He always tried to get the Bulls to pick him up. Win in Tisdale.
By the way, guys, did I miss this, or did we not talk about Artis Gilmore at all? We just
No.
say he was our center and moved on.
We just sort of
We didn't really talk a ton about Pippen. We got sidetracked. We talked about him for a brief moment, and then we went on a tangent about.
And you know
Robbins.
who Bill Walton says his worst matchup was?
Really?
Artis Gilmore.
Did he really?
Yep. He said he wasn't the best center he played against, but he was the strongest. He said he couldn't move him. He said he just absolutely could not move him.
Well, his numbers in Chicago over 7 seasons, which is a decent amount of time, is 19 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 blocks on 58% shooting
Pretty good.
and 71% from the line, which is pretty decent for a center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw him outplay Jabbar one night
Hmm.
at the stadium.
You know, his career ABA numbers are 22 and 17.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he was a monster. Again, another underrated big man that's kind of gotten forgotten over time.
I agree. We brought him up. Nobody ever put him on a list, but we brought him up a couple times
Yeah,
in
we
the
talked about him a
in
couple
the 50
different
greatest
times.
players episodes. Yeah.
Was he on the 50 greatest players?
No.
He didn't make it. He got a ring with someone, doesn't he? Either Detroit or Boston.
I don't remember. I don't know.
He played in Boston in '88, but they didn't win a
No, they
championship.
didn't
in
win it.
88.
Okay, he didn't.
And he was in Chicago. He was back in Chicago in '87.
Really?
Yeah, but they didn't win a championship then
Yeah.
either.
Okay.
So,
In '87, he was on the team with Gervin then. Gervin was on that team.
oh, okay.
I remember that. I remember seeing old George Gervin
Mm-hmm.
there for the Bulls.
All right. Well, I just want to touch on Artis Gilmore. We can get back to our power forward discussion.
Yeah, we only got one
Okay,
position here.
now we gotta sort this out.
So, yeah.
Drew, want to come to Elton Brand?
You want to come the horse grant?
No.
Here, I'll be the first one to put my foot in the water here.
Oh boy.
So how many do we?
he's
you
gonna
have to
rob
get?
it.
He's going to rob
We're,
Yeah, we're gonna get
trying to
screwed.
get unanimous. We're
Oh,
trying to talk everybody
unanimous.
into
Oh,
it.
okay.
Here we go.
Oh,
yes!
Ray has now given up his Bob Love vote and come to Elton Brand.
That's what I'm talking about, Ray.
You made a valid case.
I have like 3 of his jerseys in the other room. I can go get them. We can put them on.
No, I'm good.
Can you fit them all now?
No. I have a really, really tiny Bulls one. Well, I don't know if I can find that one. I haven't seen that one in a while. But I know I can get my 76ers one, and I have a Clippers one somewhere.
Would you say the Clippers is where he was best at?
Oh, by far.
What was his
By far.
numbers?
In Clippers?
Yeah.
20, 10, 2, and 1 and 2.
So really, he was a 2010 guy his entire career, basically.
If he wouldn't have torn his Achilles, I think he'd easily have Hall of Fame numbers.
When he tore his Achilles, did he go to Philly? Did he play for
Yeah,
Philly?
he went to Philly, yeah.
Oh,
He tore,
okay.
but the problem was he ruptured his Achilles when he was like 28, 29.
Okay.
And then he was never the same player. again
Yeah,
after
you
that.
can't once you rupture your Achilles.
But
that's
he's
it.
on like a couple top 25 lists. I can't remember which lists they are, but he's on a couple top 25 lists. Is it like blocks and rebounds maybe, or blocks and...
Well, I mean, even after his career pretty much never being the same after 28 years old, his career totals are fairly impressive. It's like he's just a little bit below 20,000 points. He's at like 9,000 rebounds. He's almost at 2,000 blocks. Like his career numbers are really good, even though his prime got cut short by who knows how many years.
Yeah.
So
But-
how many years in Chicago?
I think just 2.
He played 2. Rodman played 3. Love had a decent amount. Let me see. Hold on.
He was like 9.
Oh yeah, we
Horace
already
Bryant.
got rid of Love though, didn't we?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So then Horace Grant played. He only played a handful too. I
Probably
think.
6 or 7, probably.
7. So Horace Grant has the edge on length of time.
Elton Brand's biggest problem was he played at the same time as 3 of the other top 5 power forwards to ever play basketball. He played at the same time as Duncan, Garnett, and Dirk Nowitzki.
Yeah.
And there were other seasons sprinkled in out there with Chris Webber and Rasheed and Jermaine O'Neal having big years
Well,
too.
and then if he was out there in L.A., he's in the Western Conference with him, too.
Well, the Clippers, he was on like the 2 worst franchises in the league to start his first like 8 years of his career. The Bulls, we already went over, were trash.
Right.
The Clippers were absolute trash until he hit his prime. And they eventually got like Corey Maggette, and then went out and got Sam Cassell, and they had Chris Kamen.
Did he play with those guys?
Yep. And they went.
They had.
He was the best player on that first time they made the playoffs in a long time.
Well, he took them to this. I said we. We went to the second round. That one because Elton took him to the second round that year. He averaged like 24 and 11.
Did they have? You said Corey Maggette. Did they have Darius Miles? Was he on that team?
Darius Miles and Quentin Richardson would have been there part of the time, right?
They were on the Clippers, I know, for a while, but I don't remember when they left.
Okay.
That's the only part I don't quite remember.
The year he took them to the second round of the playoffs in L.A., he averaged 25, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2.5 blocks on 55% shooting.
Wow.
And that's what he did in the playoffs.
Was that the same year he averaged like 24 and 11 in the regular season? Because he had that one year, because he's like 20 and 10 every single year.
He averaged 24 and 10 in that regular season. Yeah.
In that one regular season, his points spike up a little bit. I think that's when he made his only All-NBA team, which is crazy. Someone who averaged 20 and 10 for almost a decade straight made one All-NBA and like one All-Star team.
But like you said, he played. Not only did he play in the league at the same time as them, he played in the same conference as the three of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Chris Webber played in that conference too. So it's like,
on the West
part of that
Coast.
time is when Chris Webber was with Sacramento, and that was the best version of Chris Webber.
Yeah.
really.
right.
Well, I mean, the greatest power forward in Tim Duncan was playing the exact same time as him, you know. And we all had KG like in our top 5 at least, or 6 in our power forwards. He was there the whole time. Dirk was in all of our top 5. He was there the exact same time.
Do you all?
Not only that, but this would have been like he would have overlapped 2 or 3 years there with Karl Malone. Karl Malone was still making All-Star teams in the early 2000s.
Well, he won that last MVP in like '99.
Yeah,
Right.
And
Which
that's
should have
when-
went to someone else, but yeah.
Yeah,
But at least it says he was still good, though.
yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause I think he's the oldest MVP in NBA history. I think he was like 36 when he won or something. Karl Malone,
Oh, Carl.
I think,
Yeah, that makes sense.
or 36 or 37, something like that. I don't know. But yeah, Elton Brand was legitimate. He just never got any attention. Then he ruptured his Achilles and it was over.
All right, well, Drew, what are you thinking right now?
I really don't want to leave the horse train.
But if you had a choice, which one would you go to?
I don't need to make a choice.
Well,
Well, you
before
gotta make
this
a
night's
stand,
over.
huh? All right.
I mean, I don't see what Horace can't do what the other guys can do. I mean, Horace wasn't asked to score as much as Elton Brand was. He didn't have trash cans. He had the GOAT and then the greatest Robin ever. So he wasn't asked to score 20 a night.
That's true.
He was asked to get his fast breaks, play good defense, rebound.
But he was asked to rebound, and Elton Brand out-rebounded him, and so did Rodman.
Well, Robin out-rebounded
And-
everybody.
Yeah,
And Jordan left while he was still there, and he only averaged 15.
That's true.
Yeah.
But
And-
that team, you can't tell me Jordan leaving that team is still way better than Elton Brand's team.
No, I'm just saying he got asked to score more because Jordan left.
Horace did commit the sin of feeding Sam Smith his material for his book also. Even though he said he didn't, we all know he did.
By the way, I just want to say this: did Horace not look yoked in the Last Dance?
He did sit there in his shirt. He's like,
Yeah, well, he looked like he had a medium on. First off, Like,
Looking like Shannon Sharp is what I'm looking like. Shannon Sharp is yoked, and he always wears tight shirts.
Yeah.
in a cardigan.
To let you know he's
A
young.
$3,000 cardigan.
We'll talk about that in the after part because I want to bring that up.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, well, I'm gonna do something here.
Come to EB.
I'm gonna change my vote from Rodman to Brand.
yeah.
Oh, Mark is heated. Mark is heated.
All right. Drew, just make it 4 so we can get this on the road.
I mean,
I'll change.
Oh, Mark has been left alone on the island.
Sorry, Mark, but
I could have understood going
wait
from
for the
Robin
good
to Grant, but to Brand? Yes!
Well, here's my thing. First off, I want to support my brother and his favorite player. Because I might need that support later.
That's
That's
true.
Second off, here was my thought process, and y'all could tell me if I'm wrong or not. But I feel like Brand may help us hold up later against some of these other all-time teams. I don't think we've told Mark this, but at the end of this, we're going to rank them East and West and do a tournament with these all-time fives.
Oh, okay.
Maybe we can have you back for that episode, Mark.
Okay.
Maybe we should have a bunch of guests here for that episode.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just talking out loud during the middle of an episode, so don't hold me to any of this. But maybe we should have a bunch of guests here for that episode so we can argue.
We can argue it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
We're gonna find some more chairs.
Say what?
We're gonna find some more chairs.
Yeah, that's true.
I would rather see, I'm glad you told me that. Guys, y'all got to come back to Rodman. Let me tell you why. Because if you're going to have power forward guarding, let's say Bird, you want Rodman as opposed to Elton Brand.
I will say this. I can't argue against this. But Wade did have a kind of an argument against it earlier. In Bird's autobiography, Drive, he said the toughest player for him to score against during his career was Dennis Rodman. He said he was the best defender he ever played against. But that was
Detroit.
that was Detroit.
That's
Dennis,
Detroit.
not
Dennis. I
Chicago.
understand that. And let me tell you how Dennis rebounded, though. Dennis knew the shooting tendencies of everyone he had to guard. I mean, he knew how Bird shot. If it missed, he knew how it was coming off. He knew how Michael shot. If it missed, how it was coming off. And if this is going to be an all-time tournament, you got to go with Rodman. I didn't even know that part.
Well, here's what everybody told me in the Rodman episode, and I'll use it against you now. With Brand and Rodman, is the 5 extra rebounds make up for the 15 more points? That's what I was told in my Rodman episode.
Wait, say that again?
Does his 5 extra rebounds make up for Brand's 15 more points per game?
If this is an all-time Bulls team, yes, because I don't need Brand's 15 additional points if I got Michael.
Well, I will
If you're
say
going
this.
against Kobe and Shaq and Jabbar and Elgin Baylor,
But
then yes,
I
you
need
will.
some defense.
Well, we're not putting Dirk on the team. We're putting Brand on the team. We're not putting a negative on defense.
Oh.
But I will say this, Mark. We're talking. This is the guy we're talking about, Rodman. And this is an argument I used against Wade in the 50 Greatest Players episode. This is Karl Malone's stats in the finals against Rodman.
Okay.
25 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists on 50% shooting.
That's in 98.
Yes. So, old man Karl Malone gave Rodman the business. And that was the same Rodman we're talking about.
Let
'cause it's
old man
Chicago.
Karl Malone get everybody the business.
Well, that might be
Yeah.
true, but this is the matchups we're talking about.
That is
Right.
true, too.
And if you're bringing him
Okay.
here to play defense against these guys, that's what he gave him.
I would have liked, and I don't know this, but how did Brand fare against? But this would have been young rookie and second year Elton Brand, right?
Yes.
That
Yes.
faced off against Karl Malone.
Karl-
In terms of playing, especially if he played for the Bulls, he only saw Karl Malone twice.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't remember from all the way back then.
I don't either. I'm just saying it'd be nice to know. Oh man.
All right, Ray.
All right, here we go. I got you right here, Mark.
Oh, you found it that fast?
Yeah, StatMuse does all those versus things.
Oh.
Oh, that's pretty
So you
cool.
can look up how they did against each other. They played, oh wow, quite a few games. Doesn't say. I have to count actually. Sorry. They played 13 games against each other in their career, and Malone averaged 23 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists on 54% against Elton Brand.
23 and 8.
23 and 8. You know, his rebounds are down significantly.
Yeah.
because he played against old Carl.
Yeah, I just wasn't expecting him to average 8 rebounds. I don't think he ever averaged 8 rebounds for a season in his career. Karl Malone. I
That
mean.
one year. it's
Maybe just that
played
last
the
year with LA or
Lakers,
something.
Yeah, he does. There is 2 matchups against when he's played for LA on here.
So
But he only had a couple double-digit rebound games against Elton over the 13.
And what did Elton average?
I have to switch it. Sorry, I can't pull up both at the same time. I have to.
while you're looking it up, Drew, what is your opinion on all this?
I'm getting ready to change.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna join Mark with Dennis Rodman.
Oh,
Well, we got rid of somebody.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. All right.
All right, here's what Brand did against Karl Malone. He didn't make up the rebounds, though. Elton's career numbers against Malone are 20 points. Super consistent there.
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everywhere we look, it's 20.
Also 8 rebounds and 2 assists on 50% shooting.
All right.
He was just that person.
He was that dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
like-
dude the whole career, you knew what you was going to get.
It's going to give you a double-double, and
Yeah. You're getting 20,
Yeah.
10, and 2, night in, night out, baby.
Yes, he averaged 2.5 blocks against Karl Malone.
Whew. I think Brand's the all-around play here. I do. I'll be honest, I didn't think I'd gain this much momentum in this conversation, but I'm going with it.
Well, I think the only thing fair left to do is go to the boards.
It is our last resort.
yeah.
Go to the who?
Well, when we can't decide something, we all get whiteboards out.
It means Alex is gonna beat you because he only says it when he's winning.
I don't know about that. I've lost to the boards quite a few
You
times.
put your vote down on the whiteboard, Mark, and then either everyone's going to stick to what they say and Brand will win, or maybe someone will jump sides, and then we'll see what happens.
I will say this: Ray's always a wild card when the boards are.
This
come
is
out.
true. But and then this will be the final vote since we can't decide. Well, it's usually how we do it. I don't know if we're doing that this way.
And we don't have to do it. I was being a smart ass because we were up 4-2.
Well, they're here.
Does anyone else have an argument that they want to throw out there if we don't want to do the boards?
So why? Let me ask Drew this: Why did you finally come off Horace?
Because no one else was coming. We'd be here all night if I just sat here.
Well, why did you go to Rodman and not Brand?
Because I think older Rodman having all that knowledge of stuff is better than younger Brand just getting to the league for this team.
That's a very,
That's very good.
Add a veteran to the team instead of an experienced rookie. And Michael wanted Rodman.
It's true. It's true.
Michael relied on Rodman when Scotty was being stupid that third year on the second three-peat.
Yeah, but
then
you know,
Robin disappeared for 3 weeks in
Yeah,
Vegas.
I was saying, but you know who could have really helped him when Pippen was gone? Brand, because he could have taken some of the scoring load.
Right.
Indeed.
That's true.
While getting double-digit rebounds.
Yeah, but I got Derrick Rose and R.C. Gilmore.
You had
Also
me.
too.
You had me thinking, Drew, and then they just shot it back down.
To me, that 96, the 98 Bulls team is really a testament to Michael's GOATness, because at one point, that team ended up winning 62 games. That team won 62 games, and that was the weaker of their last 3.
Yeah.
And at one point in the season, they were 9-8.
Wasn't Scotty miss like the first 45 games of the season? Or
Is
more?
that the one where he chose not to get surgery in the
Yeah,
summer or
yes.
something?
I actually went to the game and Scotty came back. It was against, I want to say, the Grizzlies, who they were still in Vancouver then, too. Because they started off with Vancouver before they went to Memphis. It was against the Vancouver Grizzlies.
Scotty played 44 games that season.
Yeah, you're pretty close.
Sorry, I interrupted you, Mark.
Oh, no, that makes sense, because I think I went to the game, it was in January. Late January or something. So he missed just about half the season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 2 games short of the half the season. Yeah, or a couple games anyway. Actually, quite a few guys missed some games that season. Kukoc missed 12 games. Longley missed like 20 games. Steve Kerr missed like 22 games. 32 games. Sorry.
That team won 62 games.
What year was this? In 98?
98.
34-year-old Mike.
I
Michael.
do think though they could have got the 7th one because it was a shortened season. They were getting older and getting beat up, and some people say, "Oh, they could have won so many more," and some people say, "Oh, they would have never won another one."
Who would they have played?
No, I think if they were going to win more, it would have been in the gap. not at the end.
No, I'm saying if all that drama didn't happen at the end and they stuck together, some people like Nick Wright will sit there and tell you they would never have won again. They were old and washed up and getting injury prone. I firmly believe they would have got a fourth one because that was that shortened 50-game season was that next year.
Yeah.
So they would have got a big rest and then we got a short season and then just pushed in the playoffs.
You
And I
think-
think they could have got another one.
You think
Yeah.
Michael and them could have beat the Twin Towers?
It would have been tough.
Tim Duncan and David Robinson? That'd have been.
You're right. It's tough because it would have been a crazy matchup because they had nothing to match up with Mike and Scotty though. I mean, you're
No,
you're
it was
looking
total opposite.
like Sean Elliott and I don't even know who.
I've heard that,
then
that
Avery
Scottie
Johnson.
Pippen's athleticism was gone because of his back after the '98 season.
But he had a couple nice seasons after
With
that.
Portland?
Well, with Rockets and then with Portland,
Yeah.
like he had a couple nice seasons.
What about, you think Michael would have beat Olajuwon both those years?
I don't know if they would have won both of them. I really don't.
You mean 94, 95?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think if they were going to win another championship, a seventh one, they would have been better off. They would have been better suited to do it in the gap years than they would have the end.
Oh,
yeah. I agree.
They were
Well, yeah.
younger.
You mean 94,
Yeah.
95? Yes.
I
Yeah.
was talking about like there's like a conspiracy.
Yeah,
All these
yeah.
people always talk about. Oh, if they would have stayed together. Some people would like Nick Wright would be like they would have never won again. They were done. Some people would tell you they would have won 3 more, which I don't think either one of those are correct.
But
I think
here's,
they would've
I
got
guess, I
one
guess here's
more.
my thing though. When Horace left and went to the Magic, and then Mike comes back, they got beat up on the boards, and the front office said, "Oh, we're gonna fix this," and they went out and got Dennis, and they always kept them fresh with centers. Longley ended up being there for quite a while there at the
Yeah.
end, but they always had like 2 guys to come off the bench behind
Well, they had
them.
a guy named Brian Williams.
They had Williams. They had Purdue.
Purdue.
They had Parrish for a year. They was always bringing new guys in. They switched out point guards a handful of times between Paxton and Armstrong and Kerr and Harper.
They even had John
and all
Sally in that.
Yep.
one of those things.
I mean, like the front office was always moving and grooving. Do we really think they would have stayed pat after the '98 season and just not brought in somebody?
No, I think they would have. I don't think the Bulls would, as they were constructed at the time. I don't think they would have won it in '99.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't Rodman's career pretty much over after '98?
Yes.
Yeah, like it was. He
I
went
think
to
he had-
like L.A. or Dallas
Right,
or something.
L.A. Yeah, he had a little
Yeah.
try with L.A., little try with
He
Dallas.
got like
Yeah.
kicked off the team, and then he was just like done.
Well, I think this is probably what would happen. I think they would have won the first one against the Rockets because Olajuwon was basically by himself. I think they would have been too much young. But the next year when Clyde shows up,
That would have
then
been a great matchup, though. See Clyde and Michael.
I think
Yeah,
Olajuwon
that
then maybe
would've been a
could.
series.
I think they could have maybe got Michael there, and then he would have won the next 3. So we're talking he goes 7 out of 8 instead of 6 for 6.
Yeah. Which is still better than like 4 for 10 or
4
whatever.
and 10.
it is.
Yeah, 4 and 6. Yeah, it's better than that.
So I think that's probably what would have happened if he would not have retired.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they added Drexler, they did take that team to another level. The Houston team, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's another 20-point scorer. I mean, Clyde was. I mean, he took Trailblazers to the finals one year.
Yeah, against Mike.
Yeah, against Mike. And against Detroit, though. He
Yeah.
went against Detroit, too.
Yeah, well, Mike dismantled Drexler that one year.
Well, I blame that on the media, not Clyde. Clyde didn't say anything, and they were hyping him up.
Oh, yeah, I do agree that he didn't create the hype, but Drexler's the one that got dismantled.
Oh yeah.
He didn't create the hype. He just paid for it.
All right, guys, we need to make a decision at power forward. We're over an hour in.
Yep.
Okay.
Boards?
Might as well.
Can't make a decision.
All right.
I swear to God, if someone switches sides and it's 3-3,
I need a marker. Thank you, sir. Ooh, pink, huh?
I think me and Uncle Doug need a marker real quick. Maybe Mark.
We were not prepared to go to the boards.
We were not. We were not.
Since we don't do trivia every week now, we don't have them ready to go all the time.
Okay.
So we write our vote for it.
Yep.
Yes. Who you want?
All right, I got mine.
Got mine.
Got it.
Got it.
All right, I'm good.
Yeah,
I am
I'm
locked in.
All right, I said Brand.
Rodman.
Brand.
EB.
Rodman.
Brand.
All right.
Brand wins.
Can't believe I got Elton Brand on the post. It's 2 weeks in a row. I brought a 1 vote and got him on.
Well, for those of you listening, that means the Chicago Bulls' all-time starting 5 are as follows: Derrick Rose, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Elton Brand, and Artis Gilmore. So I know Mark's disappointed over there, but we got it done. And that will end the Chicago Bulls portion of this episode and lead us into NBA chat, where the first thing I want to bring up today is the Shannon Sharpe incident with the Memphis Grizzlies, who we are currently watching right now, actually, play the Warriors. Okay, so how many dudes in the entire world could do what Shannon Sharpe did in that Memphis Lakers game the other day and not get escorted out of the gym?
What exactly did he do? I haven't followed. I've heard about it, but I haven't followed it. What did he do?
So here's what
I know he apologized on
He has apologized, which I was impressed with, by the way. But this is what happened. LeBron, who he was there to watch, obviously, because he's a Nick Wright-ish kind of guy at this point. LeBron scored on Dillon Brooks, and he yelled to Dillon Brooks, "You're too small." And Dillon Brooks' response was, "Fuck you." And then Shannon's response was, "Fuck you." And they were yelling F you back and forth, and then Shannon got out of his seat, walked out on the court, and was like, "Come say that to my face." That's what I'm saying. At this point, you're just a fan. And he walked out on the court, stopped the game. They had to stop the game.
Yeah.
Yes. And they and then of course security runs out there. He has to be snatched up. Morant, Steven Adams, Morant's dad are all being held by security. All this stuff. Y'all don't want to smoke. Y'all don't, all this stuff. Like Shannon gonna fight the whole team or whatever. Now don't get me wrong. I do think Shannon Sharpe, even as old as he is, could probably snap Ja Morant in half. But I don't think anybody 55, especially 55 years old, wants any part of Steven Adams, to be honest with you.
I'm 30 years old now. I want a piece of
Is Shannon Sharpe 55 years old?
I don't know exactly how old he is.
He's got to be in his 50s.
He should have been escorted out the gym.
All they did was take him to the tunnel and tell him he needed to calm down and then let him go back to his seat and watch the rest of the game. How many people in the entire world could stop an NBA game by walking out on the floor and challenging players to a fight and not get kicked out?
That's crazy. That's illegal.
Dude, fans get kicked out for life for saying bad words.
Right.
To LeBron.
Where were they at? Was it L.A.?
Yeah, it's in L.A.
That's what the
why.
dude said in the post game interview. He was talking about something. Then all he said, "Well, only in L.A."
Well, because
He's getting ready to turn 55.
him and LeBron are boys,
Yeah.
and LeBron runs everything Lakers. So LeBron didn't want him out. He's gonna stay.
Yeah, and LeBron stuck up for him after the game.
That's pathetic.
It is pathetic.
And and I don't really have.
I knew about it. I hadn't really saw too much, but I assumed it happened coming out the tunnel or something like that.
It was a whole ordeal.
Yeah, there was a big group on the court.
Wasn't there something to do with Morant's dad?
Yeah, that too.
Because Morant's dad comes running into the camera shot, but I don't know. I'm reading into what I'm watching, so this is just my opinion. I didn't think Morant's dad actually looked pissed. He comes running into the camera and he's running his mouth you can't tell what they're saying for the most part, but Shannon starts screaming at him, so I assume he said something.
That.
Not nice.
I know you apologize, but that's pathetic. Shannon is too tied into LeBron. I mean, I'm like, dude, that's Now Nick Wright would never do anything like that because Nick Wright's not a tough guy, but he do love LeBron.
Yeah.
I mean, he loves LeBron more than Savannah.
Now, now I will say this. I don't think his original comment is out of line. Like, you're too small.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm sure.
Said all
Like,
the time.
yeah, like that's
Yeah,
not that
that's
was not
no
out of
issue.
line statement. Now, do I think? You know, me personally, them saying "f you" back and forth once or twice, I don't really have a huge problem with that.
I don't either. That's not.
I mean,
an
go
issue.
play basketball at your local rec. That's going to be said, a dozen times probably.
I
Right.
mean, Reggie Miller said some pretty bad stuff to Spike Lee and stuff. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
that stuff
Yeah.
happens.
Yep. I mean, I'm sure that. I mean, just watch one game with Kevin Garnett in it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
or Gary Payton in it.
Yeah.
Like the things they said about people. I just know. I just thought it was very. No, don't get me wrong. I understand Shannon Sharp's famous. I understand Shannon Sharp is a Hall of Fame football player. All those things. I just don't see how that keeps you from getting escorted out the building. I mean, the goddamn Knicks tried to drag Charles Oakley out the building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he did far less than what Shannon Sharp did.
Yep. I agree.
So, I don't know. It was a weird situation. But apparently, it proved that Memphis ain't tough. Like, the Memphis players ain't tough. Like, Shannon was tweeting about it. Shannon was like, see, they just talk shit. They don't want nothing. They don't blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, because the last person that punched a fan was suspended for like 100 games.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
John Morant really needs to lose out on $36 million because he punched you in the mouth.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what?
We don't need other malice at the palace.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah.
No.
We don't nobody need that.
Especially with you, Shannon.
Right.
As soon as they punch you, you know what you're going to do.
Well, how are you going to, a week before that, call out Skip Bayless because you didn't like something he tweeted, and then you do that?
Yeah.
Get out of town.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
So shut up. And
Now, I will say, like Mark said, Shannon did come out this week and gave a very long apology. He apologized to the Lakers organization, to the Grizzlies organization. He apologized to a couple of players personally. He apologized to like Dylan Brooks and John Morant, I think. And he apologized to his own family for embarrassing them. He apologized to Fox and a couple other things. So I will give him credit. He manned up and gave a big apology over it.
Man, yeah, he
But-
did. He needed to. I'm gonna have to go back and see the apology, see the incident. And he got, man, his obsession, him and Nick Wright's obsession with LeBron James is just over the top.
I thought it was all for show. I knew they liked LeBron. I'm not saying
Right.
that, but I thought like the obsession part of it was, but it was like he took it personal. Like it was like a personal thing.
Yeah.
Like it was crazy. Anyway, we could talk something more basketball related, but I wanted to get that in there today. Anybody else have an NBA topic they'd like to talk about?
well, I figured I think it'd be interesting to get Mark and Uncle Doug's opinion as being the older NBA fans.
Here we go.
Thanks, Wade.
It's all right.
As of right now, we're in late January recording this. LeBron is only like 140 points away from Kareem. So we're almost there. And I was just curious on your all's total. I'm pretty sure I know Uncle Doug's total thoughts on this,
Yeah.
but just your all's overall thoughts on this whole thing happening with him passing Kareem.
Well,
Go ahead.
I knew it was going to happen eventually.
Yeah,
I'm still not happy about it.
yeah, I know you're a Kareem guy.
Oh, yeah. Since I was little.
Well, Pat Riley did come out and give him some support the other day.
Who,
He
LeBron?
said he was the GOAT.
Oh, Kareem?
Pat Riley said
Mhm.
Kareem because they started talking about LeBron and stuff, and then he just started going in on
If
how
you want-
great Kareem was.
If you want to hear
and
my opinion,
that
I
was
think
the
Kareem
greatest.
has more of a debate than LeBron does.
You can definitely
More
make that-
titles, more MVPs. He has an unguardable shot.
Yeah,
I mean, every once in a while, Wilt would get one, but other than that, no, you can't stop it
No.
without fouling him.
Right.
Well, he made number 2 on 2 or 3 of our lists. He was 2 on mine.
Yeah.
It was 2 on mine.
At one point, he was 1 on Uncle
Right,
Doug.
it was 1 on mine for a while.
He's 2 on mine.
Yeah. So I mean, there's 4 of us right there that have him at 2. I mean,
Now, Doug, how much does it sting that he's going to be in a Lakers jersey when he does this?
yeah, it's kind of an added bugaboo.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm still a Lakers fan, but you guys know my opinion of LeBron.
Not a huge fan of the LeBron
Okay,
era.
so-
No.
Okay, so let me ask this. I'm not saying it. I don't want this to come across rudely because I think that would also come at Jabbar, and that's not what I'm intending. But how important is it really?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
With the scoring title?
Yes.
This is going to be the next giant annoying thing we have to hear about for the next 3 years from LeBron fans. He's the all-time leading scorer. It's one more thing to throw in that GOAT debate that shouldn't exist.
That's true.
Because
They're going to gnaw our ears off about it.
in all reality, the all-time scoring leader is just a battle of attrition.
Right.
I mean, that's really what it is. I mean, it's not like LeBron. This makes LeBron a more skilled scorer than Jabbar.
He's not.
You know,
Now, I will say this about LeBron. What he is doing is remarkable at year 20.
it is. It is.
I mean, it's a testament how he's taking care of his body. However, NBA scoring, when you talk about scoring in the NBA, a better measure is per game, really.
Yeah.
In terms of how effective a scorer you are. And that's still Michael.
That's Mike, yeah.
That's Michael.
Yeah.
Well, let's be honest. If we're just talking about scoring numbers, not about who can score on who, but like scoring numbers, Wilt's more impressive than any of these guys.
Well, yeah.
I mean, Wilt does this stupid, ridiculous thing scoring wise.
yeah.
You know. But I mean, it's different. But I mean, like when we have the greatest of all time debate, and Jabbar comes up, none of us are like, but he's the all-time leading scorer. We talk about MVPs. We talk about
That's true, yeah,
championships.
that's
We
true.
talk about Finals MVPs. We talk about the skyhook. We don't talk
Skyhook.
about the greatest of all time or we don't talk about the all-time leading scorer because in all reality, we'll say the same thing about Jabbar. We're kind of saying about Jordan. He just played longer than everybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, and don't get me wrong,
See,
LeBron is better today than Jabbar was his last year in the
he
league.
was.
Right, yeah.
You know, Jabbar was a shell of himself then.
That's the same thing I say about running backs all-time yardage. Emmitt Smith is not even in my top 5.
No, he's not my top 5.
Thank
No.
you.
Yeah, preaching to the choir.
Yeah, we've had many conversations about that.
Oh, man.
We have Walther fans and Barry fans and all kinds of fans.
I can't. with
Mark's a
Smith.
Jim Brown guy.
No,
Yeah, I think
add to the list.
Jim Brown has a case to be made for the greatest all-time football player.
I mean, I know other people that think that, so
Yeah.
it's not an uncommon opinion.
Mine's a different position.
My greatest of all time NFL player is a receiver.
He's definitely the most dominated his position
Jared
more
Rice.
than anybody else.
Because here's the thing, Mark.
Yeah.
There is no debate on who the greatest receiver of all time is. We just named 5 guys and debating on who the greatest running back of all time is. So that means, can you really be the greatest player of all time if there might be 4 guys of your own position that people think are better than you? I'm just saying.
Is that all right? Anyway, back to basketball.
Yes, but you're right. This is all we're going to hear from LeBron fans.
Yeah.
No, it is going to be a big thing for the LeBron stands. It really is. I mean, Nick Wright's going to be unbearable in a few weeks.
He is.
Well, I tried to drive this home. I think I brought this up numerous times. I got into a GOAT argument with a guy I worked with like last year that went on forever. And he kept bringing up all these finals appearances. And I said, that doesn't mean a goddamn thing. He lost over half of them. I don't care about his finals appearances. It does, because that's all I ever hear from LeBron fans. Oh, well, he made, what was it, like 8 or 9 in a row, and he has like
9,
10 total, something like that. I'm like, yeah, that is an accomplishment, but that doesn't make you better than someone who has more championships than you.
Right. I
The
won
goal is
more than
to
you.
win.
You just
Right.
got there more of the times than me.
Yeah.
Does that really matter?
Well, I think we talked about this during our basketball thing was if you've won the same number of titles, getting there more is a
Yeah.
plus.
Yes.
But if you haven't won the same number of titles,
And you've got there
No.
more.
you know,
He's been there. He's been the 4 more.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, but Well, let's just do it like this. Let's just say it like this. This is a great example of it. In the Magic Larry debate, nobody ever brings up who lost more. You know what I'm saying? Nobody says, well, Magic lost in this year and Bird made it and lost this year. Like, nobody talks about that. We just say 3 and 5.
Right.
Like, that's what we say. Nobody says, well,
Three.
what about the ones they lost? Well, they fucking lost. We move on. Like,
Right.
Losing-
still there.
Losing championships wasn't a positive thing until LeBron James fans came along.
Right.
All there is to
Yeah,
it.
the only thing I talk about Larry, it's
Because they
Magic.
can't
It's
come up
3
with-
and 5 and 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's the shit you do when you have no argument to prove a point. You make up stupid shit.
Now, don't get me
Everyone's
wrong.
done it.
Like you said, it is a cool accomplishment. But let's also be honest here. The Eastern Conference was complete dog shit when he did it.
We've
When we're
talked.
talking about the team that was like the Raptors have like the most wins during part of that time.
Yeah.
Their best player is DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, is Jim Kelly better than John Elway because he has more Super Bowl appearances?
Right.
Or
Well, yeah. I think they went
Four
did they go
straight years. Yeah, and they
Yeah,
lost
four
all
straight
4.
years.
Lost
Yeah.
them all.
Doesn't matter if you win or lose, just about showing up to the game. Apparently.
Then that Bills team's a dynasty.
Not
Yeah.
only that,
They're
it's
probably
not
the best team in the
it's-
90s.
It's not just that. We have let's look at some of these
So
things
bad.
realistically. Some of these losses I don't hold against LeBron. Like the very first
The
loss
first
against
one
the
I don't.
Spurs, I don't hold against
07.
LeBron at all. That was a nightmare of a matchup for them.
Right.
Like they had no business beating that Spurs team, and they got swept, and it was over, and it was. But
Right.
here's the other thing: there are times in LeBron's prime where he is balling, just tearing up the league, and gets smoked in the finals.
Well,
That loss against the Mavericks is embarrassing.
like I don't hold 07 against him. I hold 11 against him. The Mavericks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't so much hold 15 against him. He had they were injured. Kevin Love went down.
Yeah,
And Kyrie went down.
and Kyrie went
I don't
down,
hold
yeah.
15. And matter of fact, I give him big time credit for 16.
yeah.
You know.
But here's the other thing, though. Here's the other thing the LeBron fans have started doing is after you leave LeBron, they run your career down to act like you was a nobody. Go ask LeBron fans how good Kevin Love is. Now, he's not very good right now. I'm not trying to say he is.
No.
But when he played with LeBron James, he was one of the best players in the NBA.
yeah.
When he came from Minnesota,
That's
he
why they
was-
went and
He
got
was
him from
averaging-
Minnesota.
He had brand like numbers in
Now,
Minnesota.
LeBron fans, and some other fans now too, but LeBron fans are very quick to use Kyrie being crazy as an excuse why he's not a good basketball player. Kyrie is a straight baller.
Kyrie's
yeah.
a straight ball.
He is crazy. I'm not saying he's not.
He is.
He is crazy.
But he can play.
And we didn't hear nothing crazy out of him when he was playing with LeBron.
Right.
And when he gave the Warriors back-to-back 40-point games to win LeBron a championship and hit the game winner in Game 6.
Yeah, we know that.
Don't forget about old Ray Allen.
Ray Allen, yes.
Ray Allen saved his
but,
butt.
but how badly did they run down Bosch and Wade after he left Miami?
Right.
Especially
What?
Bosch.
I
made
mean, they
Bosch-
ran Bosch down to like he was a nobody. But
Yeah.
they even ran D Wade down because D Wade's the reason he had to leave. D Wade wouldn't play no more. You know, like, and it became like, and now everything's Anthony Davis's fault. Not to say that Anthony Davis doesn't
Right.
stay healthy, but LeBron ain't been healthy for years either.
Well, the year they won the title, Anthony Davis was their best defensive player, best rebounder, and best scorer.
Yep.
Yep.
But LeBron got MVP. I think,
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, because
They should have gave Anthony Davis that one.
I mean, I don't know about the finals numbers. I'm talking about in the regular season that year.
Yeah.
he outscored him, out rebounded him, and was a much better defender. Now LeBron led the league in assists that year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's just
Is that clock right?
No, the clock's wrong.
Oh.
what time's the clock say?
It's 10:14.
Okay.
What's the clock say?
11.
11:50.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't switch it back.
Yeah.
All right. Well, does anybody else have any NBA topic we want to talk about real quick? Because we could probably talk about LeBron for 3 hours.
yeah, we could.
I'm good.
No, I'm good. Yeah.
All right. Well, we appreciate you tuning in to this Chicago Bulls episode of Sports the NEMO Way, and we appreciate Mark coming in for an
So
episode.
thanks, Mark.
Golden State.
You want to come back for Golden
Yeah,
State?
we'll come back with
All right, Mark wants to come back for Golden State. You don't have to whisper, Mark. You can just say it.
Oh, okay. Golden State. I think they got an interesting history.
Golden State has a lot more talent than you
Load
think
them
right
up.
up front.
Oh yeah.
We can load them up.
Yeah, I think they could be a high seed in the West.
Oh, I got one question for Mark. For the Bulls, do you think they can make with this team? You think they can make a run in the Eastern Conference?
This team?
Yeah.
No.
No, this.
No, this team.
Yes.
Like the one we just picked.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
In our tournament at
In
the
our
end.
tournament, you think? Well, here,
Yes. That guy. They got to
MJ.
go.
Well, they got MJ.
Hey.
We got to bring Mark back for the tournament.
Yes.
They got to go.
I think we got to get Mark here. I think we really need to get Schaller here because Schaller, a LeBron fan, will make
yeah.
things
Oh,
interesting.
no.
Here's my question. Quick question. How many teams is LeBron on?
Well, we
can
maxed
only
it
do
out. You
two.
could only make 2
Oh,
teams.
you can only make 2.
Although he wouldn't make the Lakers anyway.
Right. So you're going to put him on Cleveland, Miami.
Mhm.
Okay.
I mean, he's the best player in Cleveland's history. I mean, he's got to be on Cleveland.
By far, it's not even
But
close.
I mean, he's probably easy Miami too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah. So yeah, we appreciate you, Mark.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for letting me come over.
No problem.
It's fun.
So maybe we'll see you back in a couple weeks with Golden State.
Golden State.
We had to argue one position, and it took us like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
One position to argue about, and it took us this long.
And please send us some emails. Send us some comments. Ray, what's the email?
Sports the NEMO Way at gmail.com.
And we'll read them on the air and talk about them if you get us some good emails. And thanks for tuning in to Sports the NEMO Way.